The 2025 NFL free agency period is proving to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, with several marquee players finding new homes and reshaping the landscape of the league. In a whirlwind of moves, ESPN's breakdown of the latest free agency frenzy has sent shockwaves throughout the NFL community. The headline names, Sam Darnold, Justin Fields, and the New England Patriots defensive rebuild, are at the center of the action, sparking discussions about how these moves will impact not only the teams involved but the broader NFL picture. Sam Darnold to the Seahawks, a career revival? Perhaps the most surprising move in this free agency period is Sam Darnold's deal with the Seattle Seahawks. After what can only be described as a career resurgence in Minnesota, Darnold agreed to a 3-year, $105 million contract with $55 million guaranteed, signaling Seattle's commitment to make him their franchise quarterback. The Seahawks traded their former starter Geno Smith to the Raiders, freeing up cap space and receiving a valuable third-round draft pick in return. Darnold's story is one of perseverance. Once considered a bust after his time with the New York Jets, his career was revitalized under the system in Minnesota, where he thrived in Kevin O'Connell's offense. The offensive coordinator in Seattle, Clint Kubiak, runs a similar system, which makes this a sensible move from a scheme-fit perspective. However, there are several challenges that could stand in Darnold's way. Unlike Minnesota, where he had the luxury of playing behind one of the league's best offensive lines and was surrounded by elite weapons, Seattle's offense is still a work in progress. The Seahawks' offensive line has struggled, and while wide receiver DK Metcalf provides a dominant target, the team lacks depth at the position. One key question is whether Seattle can replicate the environment that allowed Darnold to flourish in Minnesota. ESPN analysts point out that without a strong offensive line and additional playmakers, it will be difficult for Darnold to sustain the success he experienced last season. Seattle will need to prioritize building around him, potentially by targeting offensive linemen in the draft and considering trades for another high-profile wide receiver like T. Higgins. This move also puts the Seahawks in an interesting position within the NFC West, where the competition is fierce. With the Rams retooling their offense and the 49ers maintaining their dominance, Seattle needs Darnold to be the cornerstone of their offense. If he can build on the progress he made in Minnesota, this could turn out to be one of the savviest moves of the offseason. If not, Seattle may find themselves stuck in mediocrity, having missed out on a deeper rebuild with Geno Smith. Jets land Justin Fields, a new era in New York. The New York Jets, meanwhile, made headlines by signing Justin Fields to a 2-year, $40 million contract with $30 million guaranteed. Fields, who had been with the Pittsburgh Steelers, reunites with his former Ohio State teammate, wide receiver Garrett Wilson, creating an exciting offensive pairing for the Jets. This move signals a clear shift for New York, which had released veteran quarterback Aaron Rodgers earlier in the offseason. With Fields under center, the Jets are banking on his potential to evolve into the franchise quarterback they desperately need. Fields' tenure in Pittsburgh was marred by inconsistency and an underperforming supporting cast, but his physical tools and flashes of brilliance kept him on the radar for teams looking to secure a long-term solution at quarterback. The Jets' decision to move on from Rodgers, a future Hall of Famer, in favor of a younger option like Fields is a gamble, but one with significant upside. Fields is only 26 years old, and his best years could still be ahead of him, particularly if the Jets can build an offense that plays to his strengths. Fields' dual-threat ability makes him a dangerous weapon, but questions remain about his development as a passer. In Pittsburgh, Fields threw for 21 touchdowns and 10 interceptions over 2 seasons, solid but not spectacular numbers. Reuniting with Garrett Wilson could be a game-changer for Fields. The two formed a dynamic duo at Ohio State, and their chemistry could reignite in New York. Wilson is coming off a Pro Bowl season, and his ability to create separation and make plays after the catch gives Fields a reliable target in critical situations. The Jets, however, will need to bolster their receiving core beyond Wilson, especially after missing out on other top-tier free agents like Chris Godwin. New York's offensive line is another concern. For Fields to succeed, he will need better protection than he received in Pittsburgh, where he was often under duress. The Jets have a young, improving line, but they will need to prioritize this area in the draft and free agency to ensure Fields has the time to operate effectively in the pocket. Patriots' defensive overhaul. While the quarterback dominoes have stolen the headlines, the New England Patriots have quietly put together one of the most aggressive defensive overhauls in recent memory. Head coach Mike Vrabel, a defensive-minded leader, has wasted no time in reshaping the unit, adding several key pieces in free agency. The Patriots signed defensive tackle Milton Williams, fresh off a Super Bowl victory with the Philadelphia Eagles, to a massive deal that will pay him $26 million annually. They also added cornerback Carlton Davis from the Detroit Lions and edge rusher Harold Landry from the Tennessee Titans. New England's defensive rebuild is a clear reflection of Vrabel's philosophy. The Patriots are betting that a dominant defense can carry them while they continue to develop young quarterback Drake May. With Williams anchoring the defensive line and Davis providing stability in the secondary, the Patriots are positioning themselves to compete in the AFC East, where they will face stiff competition from the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins. However, the Patriots' offensive situation remains a work in progress. The team made a push to sign wide receiver Chris Godwin but ultimately lost out to Tampa Bay. Without an elite playmaker at receiver, the Patriots will need to look toward the draft or lower-tier free agents to add weapons for May. The offensive line, which has been solid in recent years, will need to protect May as he grows into the starting role. Looking ahead. As ESPN breaks down the early stages of NFL free agency, the league's landscape is rapidly evolving. Teams are reshuffling their rosters, making high-stakes gambles on quarterbacks like Sam Darnold and Justin Fields, while others, like the Patriots, are focusing on rebuilding their defenses to complement young, unproven quarterbacks. For Darnold and Fields, the next 2 years will be pivotal in determining their futures as NFL starters. Both quarterbacks find themselves in new environments, facing different sets of challenges and expectations. For the Seahawks, Darnold represents a chance to stay competitive in a tough division. For the Jets, Fields is a potential long-term solution who could finally bring stability to a position that has been in flux for years. Meanwhile, the Patriots' commitment to defense signals that they are willing to wait on offensive development, trusting that Vrabel's vision can keep them competitive in a loaded AFC East. Only time will tell how these moves will pan out, but one thing is certain. This year's free agency period has already delivered more than its fair share of surprises, and the NFL's power dynamics could look very different by the time the season kicks off in September.